Daily Dispatch on Talk Radio.
We all know that 2020 was a year to forget, and January 2021 has been much of the same. But take my word for it, February has every chance of being February. Yes, I went there. With our incredible world-class vaccine rollout, we now have what they call in the States the Big Mo, momentum. On Saturday, in one single day in this country, 600,000 Brits received the jab. Extraordinary. Well done, all involved. Cases of COVID-19 are on a sustained downward path. The awful tragic deaths from COVID are following suit. Now, was that down to the lockdown or the normal trajectory of a seasonal virus? You tell me. But at this stage, who cares? We are going in the right direction. We are clearly in the final chapters of this sorry tale. Now, February has every chance of being a great month as teaching and support staff in our schools tool up to get kids back into the classroom. Better late than never. The impact on children and young people has rightly been a huge focus in recent weeks. Devastating analysis from the Institute for Fiscal Studies today projects that it could cost youngsters upwards of £350 billion in lost income during their lives because of their lost year of education. And of course, they'll pick up the £1 trillion bill for this pandemic too. I'm not going to let that one go. And of course, there are challenges ahead. So we must end this soon. And if we don't end this soon and focus at long last on the economy, we will be bankrupting the country and bankrupting the next generation. It's not acceptable. It cannot be allowed to happen. End this soon we can. End this soon we must. End this soon we will. COVID-19, a virus we all hate, is now in its end game. It's injury time and the ref is holding his whistle. But this mustn't be Fergie time, with endless minutes added to this hell. This has to end now, because businesses are collapsing by the day, and the dole queue gets ever longer. So let's finish the job with COVID-19, continue to follow the rules, of course, but accelerate the next stage of our journey to recovery. Schools are opening again in early March, but we need to go further. With the key vulnerable groups protected and NHS capacity restored, and with the worst of the virus-friendly cold weather behind us, there's a strong case for ending all restrictions in the month of March. I suspect this has been the biggest cock-up in history. I'm looking forward to the inquiry. It will be the mother of all inquiries. But we are where we are. The UK has gone from zero to hero with this magnificent vaccine rollout. But the freedom given to us by this vaccine will be for nothing if we don't use it. We could wait forever to be completely, in inverted commas, safe from this virus. We could go for zero COVID, which of course would lead to zero Britain. We've got to learn to live with this damn awful virus. February could and should be a great month for this country. When we look back, it can be the moment in the pandemic when the script changed. And when we began to move on from being dominated by this virus, by learning to live with it. It can be the moment we dare to dream of freedom, of a return to living our lives again, seeing loved ones, going for a pint spontaneously, grabbing a bite to eat, going back into the office, contributing to our economy and setting about the challenging but joyous task of rebuilding Britain. Time is of the essence, so let's crack on. If we get this right, Feb will be fab. It can and will be a month to remember.
Hi, you okay?
Really good. Brilliant to have you on the show, Terry. What do you think?
Thank you.
Do we need to think about lifting COVID restrictions as early as March? What's your view?
I think we do, absolutely, yeah. But my reason for that is obviously the game changer, the vaccinations that we got so many of them now. We're going to cover 85% of the population, which is going to hopefully be COVID-free to an extent.
Yeah.
It leaves us 15%, take 5% of 9 million children away. We're left with 10% who could get it. So I think we should be able to do this. And I think if we keep pushing and pushing and pushing, if we can do 9 million in 7 weeks, we can get out of this quicker. We just have to keep accelerating. But just another point is Matt Hancock said last week on the TV, he was thanking people. It's fantastic thanking people. Let's thank everyone we can once we get out of this. But he thanked 80,000 people, volunteers, who were basically volunteering to go and give the vaccinations. And the reason we're doing this, we're not doing it because we've got nothing to do. We're doing this because we want to get out of this.
Yeah.
And everyone, we'll get another 80,000 people. If they could say we're getting out of this in March or even early April, I'd build a shed in my garden and do vaccinations.
Well, I completely agree. Listen, let me tell you, I don't think anyone would trust me with a needle, Terry, but I'm certainly happy to help out as well. And I will happily be vaccinated by a traffic warden if it makes this thing end.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, everyone's for this now because every day they leave this, people are losing the business. People are losing their homes. Yeah. People are losing their livelihood. More people into mental health problems. We do. They need to understand that we're there to help.
There has been a huge misinterpretation in the course of this pandemic that there's only one problem, which is COVID. And of course, the COVID measures, we can only pray it was the right thing to do, Terry. Delighted to debate it every day on the home of Free Speech Talk Radio. But either way, the damage from the restrictions is very clear too. Terry, how has the pandemic impacted you? Terry, how has the coronavirus impact and the restrictions, how have they impacted you on a personal level?
Well, personally, I'm in the hospitality business. We supply the starter people who want coffee shops. We supply the coffee machines. We supply all the contracts. We supply all the coffee beans. So in my industry, it's impacted that side of it, where I've basically lost a lot of income.
Yeah.
Mental health-wise, I'm quite a strong person, but I've got a lot of friends who are pretty much struggling. So I think it's becoming an issue with boredom, sort of depression, anxiety. All these things are coming into everyone now because we're in a period now where we're pretty much locked down into a home at 4 and 5 o'clock in the dark again.
Yes.
Where in the summer we had a bit more, so you could fulfill a little few hours easier. But now everyone's just pretty much done with it.